Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. And I have a little confession to make. My laptop just decided to die, the one that I always used to do my videos. Went out of town for a couple of weeks, left it behind, came back. It decided to give up the ghost. So my other laptop, which is my backup laptop, the camera, the lighting doesn't work very well. And it's not the lights, it's the lighting. So I am using my hand camera to record this part of the video. So I've got this thing right in my face. I figured if people can do it with their phones, I should be able to use the hand camera. So that's what I'm using. Bear with me, everybody. New year, new challenges. Anyway, what we're going to make today is I'm continuing our hardware jewelry. I'm going to do, or we're going to do, a necklace made out of washers. We've already done the bracelet out of hex nuts, so I thought we would make a very simple necklace out of washers and wire. That's it, washers and wire. So we're going to take the washers and we're going to arrange them, and we're going to make a necklace, and we're going to connect them with infinity links out of wire. Okay, so what I've got is, I've got different colors for the kits. Some of you will have a large silver one for our little centerpiece, and then silver and copper or silver and gold to interchange. I'm using silver and copper for the demo. And I've got several sizes, and I'm going to, I'm going to take it down to the camera and show you what we're going to do, because we're just going to build a necklace. And this is really more about design than anything, except that we're going to put a little pattern on our centerpiece, because I didn't want just a bunch of washers connected with a chain, with infinity link chain, which is pretty, and it's supposed to be unisex. But I thought I'd do something that embellished it just a little bit. Anyway, so we're going to be using washers of different sizes. I'm using copper and silver, and we're going to be using 20 gauge wire. That's it. That's it. Well, that's all we need to put it together, except for our tools, which are our usual tools, our round nose pliers, our square nose pliers or chain nose pliers. And sometimes people get the chain nose and square nose ones confused with the round ones, because they're slightly rounded on the outside, but you can see the difference. The square ones are slightly rounded on the outside, but the inside is completely flat. And when you buy these, you want to make sure that you get a pair that doesn't have those little teeth or ridges on the inside, because that'll chew up your wire, and that's not what you want. The last thing you want is a pair of cutters. There's a couple of kinds of cutters that you can get. I don't see my arms. Anyway, a pair of cutters is fine. I was going to say you can, there they are. Use flush cutters, or this isn't what I want, but yeah. You can use flush cutters, or you can use these regular cutters. Either one works. They both do the same thing. The last thing that you're going to need is a ruler to measure your wire. That's it. You need your standard tools, a ruler, washers. Go raid your toolbox and grab some washers, and 20 gauge wire to link everything together. So let's get down to the other. Let me shift the camera, and let's get started. Okay, so here's what I'm using. I've got these copper colored washers, and I thought I'd put that in the center, and then I would just link it with these silver, alternate between silver and copper to make my necklace. So this is, let me turn around the other way. This is basically what I was thinking of to do my necklace. It's the start of it. Neat, huh? Anyway, that's the beginning. So that's what I was thinking in regard to my necklace. And the first thing that I want to do is do my centerpiece, because I decided I was going to do a little rose embellishment on my large washer that's going to be in the absolute center of the piece. And you do not have to do that. If you want to give this to a guy, he may not want a flower on um, his necklace. But I'm going to do it because this is for me. So I'm going to give myself 12 inches of wire. It's probably going to be more than I need because I don't need too big a rose, but I can use whatever's left over for something else. I hope if I have big enough pieces left. So I'm just going to cut 12 inches of wire. And I'm going to slide that wire onto my washer, and I'm just right there in the center, just eyeballing it. And then I'm going to fold that over like that. Let's just squeeze it down so it's nice and snug against my washer. Then I'm going to wrap one side around one side of the length of my wire around one side of my washer. So got one wrap there. Let's get this a little closer. Bring that down. Like so. Wrap that around. I've got too much light on. Something, give it a glare. And then I'm going to wrap it around one more time. No, I don't need to do that. One time is enough. So this is what I have. I'm going to bring the other one down until I have my two wires going in opposite directions. So one's going one way and one's going the other way, like that. I want it nice and snug against my washer. Give it a tug. That. And so now I'm going to get this even closer. I'm going to make my rose. It's too close and it's again, new year, new challenges. What can I say? How's that? Okay, just do some lights. I think it might be better. All right, let's try that. All right, so I've got one wire going one way, one wire going the other way. And I'm going to take the wire, one wire, doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to start making a little loop. So I'm going to wrap it around and bring it under the other wire. And just make a nice tight little loop there. Then I'm going to follow around with the other wire. Let's bring that one around and under the first wire. Like that. Then I'm going to bring the one that's, this is the wire that's in front. I'm going to bring the wire that's in the back around and under that wire. I just lift it up so I can get it under there nice and easy. Just bring it around. And I bring it around until they're spread out in opposite directions. And then I'm going to follow that first wire around again and bring the wire under it. Now you can see where the rose is starting to form. Sorry guys, I'm still dealing with these lights, trying to figure out how to get less glare. That might be better. So here's the wire that's in front. Bring the wire that's in back around and under it. And let's go back to the wire that's in the back. Bring it around and under. And I want a nice tight rose. And again, they're in opposite directions. Bring the back wire around and under the front wire. Back wire around and under the front. Okay, that's like that. And I'm going to keep doing this until my rose is the size that I want it. And it doesn't have to be too large. I just want a little bit of an embellishment here. Little bit. That might be big enough. I'll make one more rotation. There's my rose. Nice. Very pretty. So now I just need to finish it off. My rose is all finished. Now I'm just going to wrap this around to close it up, just to secure it. So I'm going to take one tail and I'm going to wrap it around the outside. Right beside the rose. Nice and close. Nice and snug. And I'm using raw copper wire, which I really love, especially for something like this, because I'm kind of manhandling the wire, and the raw wire I can't mar it because there's nothing on it. There's no coating on it. It's just bare wire. And I love that. Round. And that last little tail just ends up on the back. Push it down nice and close to the washer. Here we go. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Just wrap that around. Nice and tight. And side by side. Put them on top of each other. Side by side. Get over there. And just manipulate it until it looks the way you want. And cut off the tail. 12 inches was just perfect. I kept going and going with my little rose. And there we have it. Yay. Isn't that great? And block out some of that light. And there we go. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to have that on the bottom. I have these bordering it. It'll look like that. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so that is my first component. Then the other thing I need to make are some infinity links to link my necklace together. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my bead board and start my design. No. Here. All right. Get under there, get under the camera. There we go. So this is going to go here. And these are going to go on either side, like so. And then I'm going to have silver bordering it. So this is what I'm thinking. And this is what the bead boards are so wonderful for, because then I can lay out my design and decide how I want it to look. So this is what I'm going for. Yay. All right. So I'm going to put these over here. And now, and I'm going to show you how to make infinity links. These little guys. That's what's going to hook everything together. So what I'm going to do is grab my 20 gauge wire. And all I need is about an inch and a quarter for each length. But what I suggest that you do is just leave it intact. You're going to have those of you who get kits are going to have a nice long piece of wire. You put this out of the way, and I would suggest that you not cut it up. Just leave it intact and make your lengths with the long piece of wire and cut it off when you need to. Right now, I'm just going to cut a strand of wire and show you how to make these lovely little infinity. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers, take my wire and slide it down to the back of the pliers. Now, it depends on what size you need because these washers are all different sizes. You shouldn't need more than the back of the wire in order to be able to string the infinity length over one of these, like so. That's going to fit. So I'm going to go to the back of my pliers with my wire, slide that wire in. I'm going to check and make sure if I can feel it at all, it's just barely, but I don't want to leave any of the wires sticking out from between the pliers. This is the end. I want it fully encased in between the jaws of my pliers. Now I'm going to twist my wrists, just rotate a little bit in order to get part of a loop. Then I'm going to open my pliers and without shifting the wire at all, I'm going to reposition my pliers and then clamp back down on my wire and give it another rotation. And I'm going to do that until the tip of my wire hits the long length of my wire. So now I have a loop. So there's my first loop. Then I'm going to slide my pliers under the loop. Just slide my wire down again until it's at the back of my pliers. Clamp down on the long tail of wire that's in between the jaws. And I'm going to rotate back in the other direction, in this case, towards me. Rotate back. Again, without shifting my wire, I'm going to open my pliers, reposition them, clamp back down, and rotate. And I'm going to do small turns until I get a full loop. So there's my little infinity. Boom. Look at that. Then I'm going to cut this little tail of wire off. I'm going to cut it right in between the loop. Just go right in the loop. Snip that off. And there's my link. Let's do that again. Take my wire, slide it in between the jaws of my pliers, right at the back. Now I have to be careful because the back of this is square, so I don't want to go past that platform. So I'm going to go right here, just in front of that square part. Make sure nothing's sticking out. Give my wrist a twist. And do not move my wire. Just open my pliers, rotate them back, clamp back down, give my wrist another twist. And I'm going to do that until I have a loop. So there's my loop. Slide my wire in between the jaws of my pliers. My one jaw is under the loop. Clamp down. And now I'm going to rotate. Let me go this way. I'm going to rotate in the other direction toward me. I switched it because it's easier for me to turn it the other way. There we go. And there's my infinity link. Cut it off right in between the loop and the back of the wire. I'm going to do that one more time. I have plenty of wire to make another one. Slide my wire to the back of my pliers, clamp down, make sure that nothing's sticking out, rotate away from me, open my pliers, reposition, clamp back down, rotate away from me, and keep doing that until I have a loop. Slide my pliers out, go back in, pliers under my loop, clamp back down, rotate towards me, opposite direction of the first one, and keep going until I have my loop. Cut off, right inside my loop, and there we have it. Lovely, lovely, and lovely. And these are what we're going to use to link everything together. So let's do that, shall we? All right, so I'm going to take my centerpiece. As you can see, I've got some of these already done. Yay. So I'm going to grab my centerpiece here and one of my links, the one that's going to go next to it. And I'm going to open up one of my infinity links. And the way you want to do that, you're going to open it the same way you would a jump ring. This is kind of taking the place of a jump ring. It's a much more pretty way to link things together and make a chain. So I'm going to grab the side, I call it the face of my loop with my pliers. And I'm going to flip that up towards me. Instead of pulling it apart, I just flip it up. Then I'm going to slide that over one of my washers, and I'm going to push it back down to close. That's it. Then I'm going to go to the other side and open it the same way. And I'm going to slide my other washer on. Now, these washers have a specific front and back. I want to make sure that the fronts are all, they have a top and a bottom, a front and a back. And I want to make sure that the front is what's showing on top. So the way to make sure that you're putting these on correctly is flip your washer over until both of the fronts are together. Then slide that into your infinity link and flip it over to drop it back inside. Then close your link, and there's your first loop. Okay, I'm going to go on and link to the next one. That's there for now. So I'm going to grab, as you can see, this is what I did. I have my centerpieces here. And then I'm going to go on and make my chain. So I'm going to grab one of these little teeny tiny silver ones. I'm going to open up 1/2 of my infinity link. I'm going to slide it on my next washer, close it, and then go to the other side, open it up. Again, make sure my front is facing down against the front of the other link. Slide it on and close. And let's go to the next one. Slide it on. And close. Make sure that's completely closed. And open. Like that one on. Where's my front? There it is. And close. And I'm just going to do this until I have all of my links. Put it on. Close it up. My next one. And close. And let's see what we have so far. Oops, flip it over. Oops. And that's what we have so far. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish linking the rest of these on both sides. I got the rest of it. Where's the rest of it? There it is. I've already got it started. And I'm going to come back and show you how to finish up the chain. And then we're going to do a clasp. And we'll be all finished. Yay! Be back in a jiff. Okay, here's what we're looking at. Here's my little design. And now we're going to finish off the chain. I decided to use the infinity links to complete the rest of the chain. So what we're going to do is take one of our links, just like we linked these together, and you can use your pliers to open them up, but you don't need to. You can use your fingers. I'll use my pliers because if I open them with my fingers, you can't see what I'm doing. But you open up one of the links and put it on just like you did before. Close it up. And I'm doubling my link. I think it looks prettier. Didn't have to do it down here because I didn't want to cover up all of my washer. So I'm using a double link here to make my chain. One reason is because I like the look of it, and another reason is because I think it makes it come back here a little more, a little more secure. So open that up. Now, when you're using a double link, I want to always make sure that the openings are on the same side. Otherwise, it makes it hard to link everything together. So I want to make sure that if this end is on the outside here like that, then the other one will be as well. So I want to make sure that they're both going in the same direction like that. So there's the tip on this one. There's my tip, and here's my tip. I want to make sure they're both going the same way. Open it up a little more. And close. Okay. And now I'm going to link it to the rest of my chain that I've already done. And now you'll see why I said it's a good idea to have both of the ends on the same side instead of one here and one on the opposite side, because it would be hard to link everything together. So I'm going to open both of my links, and I'm going to grab the other part of the chain. I'm going to slide it on. Actually, I'm going to slide it on one at a time, then I don't have to worry about getting things tangled. You can do it both at the same time, or you can do them one at a time. I've got them both open. I'll just slide the loop in one and in the other, just like that. We'll show it a little closer to the camera. So I've got both of these open. I'm going to slide both of my loops inside the one ring and then move it over and slide it in the other ring. Oops, I didn't get them both. Both of them in. One. And then both of them in the other one. Make sure they're both looped. And then close them up one at a time. The last thing you want is for these to get tangled together, because then your chain laid properly. And there's my chain. Nice. Okay. And now it's time to make my clasp. So what I'm going to do, reach that over. This is one of my favorite clasps to make. I'm just going to cut off about 4 inches of wire. Really only need about 3.5, and it depends on what size you want your clasp to be. I'm giving myself about 4 inches. Then I'm going to measure about an 1.25 inches from the top. And I'm going to bend right there at that 1.25 inch mark. Just bend the 2 wires side by side. And I'm going to squeeze them together as much as I can with my fingers. And then when I can't squeeze anymore, I'm going to use the pliers to do the rest. I just want these 2 lengths of wire side by side. And you're going to have to be patient with yourself because you don't want them to overlap. And push those together, nice and tight. So nice and side by side. Then I'm going to go down here to the bottom, about 3/4 inch away from the top. And I'm going to bend up this 1/2 inch or so of wire until it's straight up like that. So that's what I have. The wires are side to side. That's bent up towards the sky. Then I'm going to grab my pliers, clamp down on my 2 pieces of wire, and I go to the center of my pliers because I have a better grip there. And I'm going to wrap that short tail around the long tail of wire as close as I can get to the wire, just under the pliers here. And this is a very short tail, so I'm going to go ahead and use my other pair of pliers to get that around there. wrap that around. I just need one complete turnaround there. If I can do more, that's great. And then push down the end. And I like the end, the tip, to end up right in between these two wires. I don't like it over at the side because it's too easy to catch on something if it's not anchored somewhere. So I like to cut this little tip off right here in between the two wires. I'm going to snip that off. It's very short. I'm going to turn it down into my spool here and cut it. So that'll fall right in there and out of my way and won't fly across the room. So there's my little tip. I'm going to take my pliers and push it down nice and close to my wire. Don't want anything sticking up. Ready to catch on anything. There we go. And this other part right here, I'm going to make a loop. So I'm going to bend that back. These are the two wires side by side. I'm going to bend it up, grab my round pliers, and make a loop. It doesn't have to be a huge loop. So I'm just going to go about 3/4 of the way back on my pliers here. I'm going to make a loop, just wrap that tail around my pliers, open my pliers, reposition them, and wrap it the rest of the way until I have a loop. Just like that. And I'm going to grab my flat pliers and I'm going to wrap that tail around that loop nice and close. And I don't need too many wraps. I'm just going to wrap it around one full rotation. And clip it off. Again, I want it to go right in between my two wires. Push that tail down, that little end down in between the other wires. Get down in there. Go. And now I need to make my hook. Keep this nice and flat. Now this is where the ends of my wire are. So I'm going to make the hook so it goes over those little ends and they can't ever catch on anything. So what I'm going to do is, here are the ends. I'm going to bend it back in the other direction like that. I'm going to take my pliers. Oops, one more thing. Bend that back at the bottom. Then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to bend a little bit of a ledge up here at the top. So I'm just going to grab right there at the tip with the tip of my pliers, and I'm just going to give it a little kink, boop, like that. So that's what I have. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to slide them down under that little ledge about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4. Slide my wire all the way back to the back of my pliers just before I get to the hilt. And I'm going to rotate my pliers. It's a small turn, open, rotate back, small turn, and keep turning until I have a shepherd's hook. Nice. And there's my little hook, and I'm going to attach it to my chain. So again, I'm going to open up my chain, Open up my loops. I'm going to slide my hook on under both of those loops into both of those loops. That's one, that's two. Oop, I missed one. There's one, first one, and the second one. There we go. It's inside both. And I'm going to close them both. Make sure you close them up separate. You don't want to get those tangled. There's one, and there's two, and there's my hook. And now I just need to make a loop for the other side. So I only need about 3 inches for that. Measure off 3 inches of wire. Flip that off. Now, you might be asking, why can't I just hook it into the other side? You could, except that you have 2 loops here, and that's going to be a challenge. You could probably do it, but you don't want to always be, you're going to be behind your head. You don't want to always be trying to find two loops to hook into. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to make another loop. So what I want to do is go down about, it doesn't have to be too far. I'm going to go down about an inch. And I don't need too big a loop. I'm just going to grab my wire with my pliers. I'm going to go back about 3/4 of the way to the back. Okay. Actually, I'm going to give myself a big loop for the hook and small loop to attach to the chain. So I'm going to go back about an inch. Back of my pliers, the inch mark is at the bottom of my pliers, and the top has the rest of my wire. I'm going to turn until I have the loop, like so. And that's going to be what my hook goes through. And this is what I have. Grab the face of my loop with my pliers. And I'm going to bring that short tail around the long tail. Now, I can go ahead and wrap it like this, but what I think I'll do first is bend that until it's straight down. So I've got a little lollipop. And now I can wrap that short tail around the long tail. I'm just going to give it 1.5 wraps. That is plenty. And cut off that tail. Now, again, I like to cut the tail off right in the center of my loop. If it's off to the side, it can snag on something, no matter how I snug it down. Snip that off. Push down that tail. Nice, neat, and tidy. And let's make the other loop. So this is going to hook into the chain, boom, and this is going to hook or into the hook. This is going to hook into the chain. So I want this loop to be going up and down, and this loop to be going side to side or the opposite. They just need to be going in opposite directions. Okay, I'm going to bend that back. So this is what I have. That's bending up. Grab my pliers. I only need a small loop, so I'm going to go about halfway down my pliers. Bring that tail over the top. And wrap it around. I have a loop. I think I'm going to go back here because this is wrapped. I want to snug that down in between the other. So I flip that around so that when I wrap it around, it'll sit right in between the other wrap. Not necessary, I'm just being anal. In particular. Nice and smooth until I have my little loop. Yep. Grab my square pliers and I'm going to wrap that around. One and a half times and slide it right there in between my links. Snip that off. Oh, and I didn't protect it, so it went flying across the room. I heard it fly up and hit my lamp. Okay, let's push that little end down. Neaten up my little wings here. And there's my little loop. So now I want to attach that to the other side of my chain. So again, I'm going to open it up, open one, open the other, slide the smaller side inside both of those little links, close one, close the other, and I have a necklace. There it is. There's my little washer necklace. Oh, I like it. Move this away. Let's see. I like it so much. Okay, I'm going to put it on. Oops, flip this over the right direction. Let's put it on a display so that you can see it in all its glory. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to put it on the display and show you what we got. There it is. There's our necklace. I love it. Can I get a little closer? That is so neat. So easy and simple to do. I love it. Turn around. I just love it. It's so simple. You got to make one. Those of you who get kits will either get copper and silver, or I had a very few antique gold and silver. So one of those combinations is what you'll get. You don't have to, I'm setting it up so that you don't have to do copper on copper. You can do silver on copper, silver on, or copper on silver. This is just the way I did it because I thought it would be easier to show. I probably should have done a contrast, but that's okay. Just the way I did it. I hope you like this. Thank you for bearing with me in my little challenges so far this year. I hope that this, I can't get a big picture because it's a tiny camera. I hope that you enjoyed this. And I hope that I was very clear on my instruction and that the camera worked okay. Let me know one way or the other. Let me know what I need to do differently. I think there's a new laptop in my distant future because this is probably not ideal. But let me know how things came out. I hope you're having a happy 2024, and I hope that you will come back for more tutorials. And until you do, have a great week. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are in the week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.